my fellow car modelers. I'm going to do a quick vlog here about a subject that's been in our hobby for a long time, that my stand on it might not be too popular, but I think everybody really needs to think about this. There's this meme that's been going around on all the Facebook model car groups that I find a little disturbing, and it centers around a main theme that this hobby is dying. Well, this hobby is not dying. You've got to get this doom and gloom out of it. This is about fun. Why do we have to keep bringing this negativeness into it? And this is the reason why I bring this up. First of all, the whole thing about the hobby's dying because the kids aren't getting involved. Video games are the evil entity that's taking this hobby down. This is so not true. And I'll tell you what, I love video games. Been playing them for years. I have never seen anything that shows that that's what's taking the hobby out. The kids today are into what they're into because it's the environment that they're into. And let me tell you about model cars and models in general. The industry itself is not hurting one bit. As a matter of fact, they make and sell more model kits today than they ever have. And this comes from people that I know that have been in the industry a very long time. I have a friend of mine that has had hobby shops for many years, and his business is bigger than it's ever been. And he knows many of the reps at all the major model companies, and they all say they're doing better than they ever have. Things are going very well. We have more models. We have more model companies today than we ever have. We have more aftermarket companies. There's more today than if any of you who were building back in the 70s, 80s, 90s, you know that it's better today than it ever was. And no, you don't have all the hobby shops. And maybe a lot of the hobby shops have gone away because of their business practices, because there's a lot of hobby shops that are making it, and it's because they've gone and changed with the times, and they've kept up with things. They've done things to keep themselves relevant. As it happens in all industries, bigger companies come in and just kind of wipe out the small stores. It's just happening. So you've got Hobby Lobby all over the place. That's what's taking out the small stores. It's not that kids aren't coming in and buying kits, and kids really never were. Think about why we have so many vintage kits. It was taboo years ago to be a model builder as an adult, so we didn't think there were as many, and we thought it was kids that were buying kits. And kids did buy kits, and the companies did market them in the toy stores towards kids. But I'll tell you what, adults were buying them and stashing them away. That's why there's so many vintage kits around. Do you think that kids bought those kits? No. Adults bought those kits and hoarded them just like we do today. This hobby has been going on a long time with adults. One thing that Andy has told me at Andy's Hobby Headquarters is that over the years, he has seen more adults come in and start in the hobby for the first time than any kids coming in. And I knew so many guys that started building model cars when they were in their late 30s, 40s, because the kids were growing up. You know, they might have already built their hot rod. It's too expensive to build another one. They love cars, so they got into building model cars. And because they're older, their learning curve was a lot quicker, so they became really good, accomplished model builders very fast. Let's face it, I mean, kids don't have the money to have a room and have all this stuff. It's adults. They've been doing model shows since the 60s, and it was adults that entered. Video games and kids being into other things is not going to kill this hobby. There are more and more adults starting in this hobby and never built before and becoming very active. Look at all the YouTube shows that have popped up, and it's adults that watch them. But I saw something this morning that's really neat and interesting, and also kind of a smaller YouTubers might have something to look out if they're going to start a regular series. There's one of the big automotive channels that I watch on YouTube, one called Donut. It's excellent. If you haven't seen it, I'm going to put the link down in the description. Outstanding channel. I suggest you subscribe to it. They just did a model building video. Wow, it was really good. And of course, they've got the money to do high production. So this thing was awesome. In 3 hours, it got over 14,000 views. I'm telling you, those are all adults. And how many of those people never built models and they go, whoa, this is cool, I'm going to go buy a model kit. That is what grows the hobby. The hobby isn't dying. More and more adults enter this hobby every day. I didn't even build as a kid. I could have cared less about model cars. I wanted something that was right there, right then. I played with my Hot Wheels. I had a couple model cars that were given to me as gifts. I slammed them together, rolled them around. They broke. I didn't like them because you couldn't play with them. This is a hobby for adults. It always has been. The companies realized in the 80s that it was best to start marketing it towards adults because that's who they discovered who were buying the kits. It was like Scale Auto magazine back in the 80s. All the builders were rallying through Scale Auto Enthusiast at the time it was called to put out more detailed, more accurate model kits and the particular model that everybody wanted. And the model companies listened, and AMT came out with the 1966 Nova. That was such a leap in accuracy and detail and parts and everything. And that was all because of adult modelers buying a magazine that the majority of adults bought, and they all said, this is what we want. And that was about the time you started seeing the shift of the model kits getting out of the toy stores and getting out of the toy section. Everybody would say, no, I'm wrong, and look, my son, my daughter, they build with me and all that, and that is fantastic, and definitely do that. I did it with my daughter. She wanted to build models, and she built some neat model cars. She even won some awards, and she even got into one of the Scale Auto contest annuals, and she was so proud and had a ball with it. But it was more that she was doing something with Dad, and it was something that we did together, and we had a great time. And as she got older, she got her own interests, video games being one of them, and now she does cosplay costumes, and she's just into her own thing, and has no interest in model cars whatsoever, and I'm fine with that. It gave me back my full model room, but I don't regret that time with her. We had a ball together. So more than likely you're going to find that's what your kid's going to do. It's more about spending time with them. Who cares what it is? And I also used to spend a lot of time playing video games with my daughter. And we have a lot of great memories for both those things. It's about spending time with your kids. And yes, model car building can bring you together with your kid. But don't get upset if they end up finding their own thing and want to get into video games and don't want to build models with Dad anymore when they're 13, 14, 15 years old and they discover other things. That's what I got to say. Let the hate begin. It's time for me to get some negative comments. I haven't yet. I really hope. Guys, think about it. Let's stop this. It's bringing a negative thing into our hobby. It bums me out every time I see it. Let's stop this meme. It's ridiculous. It's not necessary. This is a hobby. It's about having fun and about positivity, and that's a real negative downer bummer. So just keep on building your models and having fun with it, and don't worry about it. This hobby's going to be around. There's more kits on the way. They're pumping out tons of stuff. This hobby is alive and well and doing really, really good. Let's just not worry about that stuff, and let's just keep on building models. I'd rather see your model cars and your tips posted on the model car Facebook pages than the negative propaganda of the hobby's dying because of kids playing video games. Just let's stop, please. Alright, well, I gotta go. I got a video game waiting for me. I'm gonna go play. This is me, Lucas C. Thanks for listening, and we'll talk to you later.